Crews are still combing through the wreckage of the helicopter crash that killed Koby Bryant, his daughter, and 7 others. Authorities say that the aircraft was flying in fog so heavy even police helicopters were grounded. Chris Van Cleve has the latest on the investigation and the new video that appears to show the flight's final moments.
New video appears to show Koby Bryant's helicopter circling just minutes before the crash that killed all 9 aboard. The NTSB used a helicopter today to airlift key pieces of wreckage out of the rugged hillside crash site while investigators hunted for smaller items. Investigators are poring over pilot Ara Zabayan's history and helicopter maintenance records. Preliminary flight data shows the trip started normally. About 15 minutes later, the pilot began to circle. The weather was getting worse as he waited 12 minutes for air traffic control to clear him onward. About 9:40, flying below the clouds, Zabayan asked controllers to track him on radar, but he was too low. 4 minutes later, radioing, he was climbing to go above the layer of clouds. Flying now in potentially blinding fog. He reached 2,300 feet before turning left. The helicopter began to dive, falling at nearly 5,000 feet per minute. The last recorded speed, about 184 miles an hour.
NBA star LeBron James spoke to Bryant earlier that morning. In an Instagram post, James wrote he was heartbroken and devastated and promised to continue Koby's legacy. Bryant's former teammate, Shaquille O'Neal, also talked about losing his friend.
I haven't slept. Our relationship was that of brothers. I haven't slept. Our relationship was that of brothers.
In an Instagram post, James wrote he was heartbroken and devastated and promised to continue Koby's legacy. Bryant's former teammate, Shaquille O'Neal, also talked about losing his friend.
I haven't eaten. I haven't slept. Our relationship was that of brothers.
An outpouring of grief for all of the victims, including baseball coach John Altobelli, his wife and daughter.
He had the perfect life, perfect wife, perfect family. It's just mind-boggling how quick that went away.
And Chris Van Cleve joins me now from Calabasas, California. Chris, in your package, you mentioned that the pilot attempted to avoid a layer of clouds before the crash. Do helicopters usually fly in these type of foggy conditions? How big of a role might the weather have played in the crash? That's the question that so many people are asking today.
A lot of people are asking questions about what role the weather played and if the pilot should have continued flying. Now, typically, a helicopter flies under visual flight rules, and basically that means the pilot can see where he's going. And typically, it's you've got 3 miles of visibility in front of you and clouds at least a couple thousand feet. He didn't have that situation here, and it is unusual when a helicopter flies off of instruments, which would be the other option. So there are some questions about the decision to climb into the clouds. Of course, if he felt like things were worsening and he didn't have another option, you do what you can do to try to get everybody on the ground safely. But the question here is he climbed, and certainly that helicopter could have climbed above the clouds, but after he climbed to 2,300 feet, the helicopter turns to the left and begins a dive. Why did that happen?
You like? Subscribe!